Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to more talk about Blizzcon 2018, but we are nearing the end, because unfortunately we only have really 3 more games to talk about, and this one was probably the most well-received of the entire opening ceremony. In fact, in my opinion, if we didn't have the veritable thud that was Diablo Immortal, this should have been the announcement that closed out the opening ceremony of BlizzCon 2018, and that was Hearthstone, which I should also say, along with a few other announcements, had some issues. But let's go ahead and make the official announcement. It's pretty much what I thought it was. We are announcing a new expansion, Rastakhan's Rumble, which is going to be entirely based around troll lore, as well as the Gurubashi Arena and Stranglethorn Vale. A lot of people got a little confused about that. If this is about Gurubashi, why is Rastakhan in it, and why are the Zandalari involved at all? There's a reason for it, and it's kind of a funky one in the fact that since it's so troll-based, they kind of needed to incorporate the Zandalari lore that has now been put into Battle for Azeroth to be able to make it make sense. But let's get into it, and I can show you basically why. And there were technically 2 panels that were really awesome to be able to watch for it. The What's Next panel did fairly well to explain what the expansion was, but they kind of missed out on another major feature, which was the single-player aspects of it. So we actually had a second panel completely devoted to that and kind of the changes that have been going on through Hearthstone's single-player aspects. So I'm just going to give you information from as much of it as I possibly can, but let's focus on Rastakhan's Rumble and tell you what it is. So Rastakhan's Rumble, again, is going to be based around troll lore and also based around Stranglethorn Vale and the Gurubashi Arena, and it's going to be releasing December 4th, so it's already on its way. And if you pre-order it, not only do you get the obligatory card packs, but you can also get the King Rastakhan portrait for your Shaman, I believe, is the class that it was meant to go towards. And then at that point, you can have that from there on in. And so that's a really great motivation for people to go and get that. The expansion will feature 135 cards, and it will be based again around the Gurubashi Arena. So that's kind of how the single player works, is that you're actually a young up-and-coming dude who's trying to get noticed in the arena, and kind of like with Kobolds and Catacombs, Witchwood, and all of the stuff that's come after, where you do have a character that you kind of follow, and the single player looks to kind of single him out. In this case, your young up-and-coming troll actually has to pick, because of the class decks, pick whose Loa he will represent in the arena. And that's the interesting concept here with the classes in Hearthstone this time around, is each class is represented by a Loa. And by that, I mean the troll. So for those who don't know what the Loa are the gods that the trolls worship and represent in combat and all of that stuff. So at that point, you have a specific Loa representing each class in Hearthstone. For example, for the Paladins, you are being represented by Shirvala, the Tiger Loa, and a lot of your stuff is based around golden armor and tiger armor and all that stuff. If you're a warlock, you are being represented by Hyreek the Bat, and all of your stuff is kind of bat-themed around that, as well as kind of vampirism, stuff like that. I saw a few ideas where they were kind of messing around with the concept of being a vampire bat kind of deal with Hyreek. If you're a rogue, you are represented by Grawl the Shark, and actually, in this case, I know that they've been going a little bit more pirate-themed with rogues in previous expansions. This one went all out. And the other unique aspect of it is that there's going to be a guaranteed 3 sets of cards per class. It changes without that, but then every class is guaranteed to have a Loa representing them. So you'll be able to get Shirvala for your Paladin. You will be able to get a champion for your class representing that Loa. And you will also be able to get a spirit card. And the spirit card is basically, if you're a Paladin, Spirit of the Tiger, or if you're a Warlock, Spirit of the Bat. And we actually got to see 2 of them. We got to see the Spirit of the Shark, as well as the Spirit of the Bat. So those are 3 guaranteed cards that are going to each class. And just kind of going down the line, so Shirvala, or Tigers are representing Paladins, Warriors are being represented by Akali, the Rhino Loa, Priests are being represented by Bwonsamdi, so he can be represented, and the champion is appropriate, as it is Princess Talanji in Battle for Azeroth. The druids are being represented by pretty much dinosaurs, but specifically raptors, as Gonk is the Loa that is representing druids, so that is the Raptor Loa. And I did get a few questions asking if I liked what they were doing with druids, and since people do know I have a preference towards the druid class in WoW as well as in Hearthstone, I actually did like the decision. I like the fact that it's going to be kind of a dinosaur-themed deck. It's one of those things that kind of made me jealous of the Hunter and Ungoro, where they got a lot of pretty good Devilsaur and other cards that are dinosaur-themed. So I like the fact that we're kind of going into the theme of Battle for Azeroth, where Zandalari Troll Druids are more like Dinomancers. And so at that point, we get to summon a bunch of raptors and other dinosaurs to our aid. And let's see, what were the other ones that got announced? Rogues got Grawl the Shark. Mages got Dragonhawks. So Janalai, the Dragonhawk Loa, is representing them, and their champion was very interesting, as it was Hexlord Malacross from Zulaman. You also had, for the Hunters, they were being represented by Halazai, the Lynx Loa, and their champion, again, was another Zulaman boss, as it was Zul'jin, the former final boss of Zulaman, so that was pretty cool. Let's see, so Mages, Warlocks, we've covered those. Priests are being represented by Blamsamdi. I think the only one we haven't covered is Shaman, and that is being represented by Kragwa, who is the Frog Loa. And so a lot of their stuff is frog-based, and I actually think I saw a couple of spell cards that like empower hacks and other things like that. So lots of really awesome cards to be able to look into. And with the single player, you basically play a guy who picks a Loa, and then at that point you have kind of a themed deck around that Loa, which would be, you know, if you pick Shirvala, you get a paladin-based deck. You probably get the paladin power along with it, and that's how they kind of make it like Kobolds and Catacombs, Witchwood, Boomstay Project. Boomstay Project had puzzles, but like Kobolds and Catacombs, where you get to make some decisions in how your decks are going to run as you go through the rounds and take on the various other champions of the various classes. Overall, it was actually really exciting to be able to go through it. It really got me hyped up for Troll Lore, and looking forward to seeing what they're planning on doing with Rastakhan's Rumble, especially with the single player. It looked really fun. And fun fact for a lot of people who don't actually know this, I've had I know a few people asked, since you bring up Kobolds and Catacombs so much, did you try the dungeon run? I haven't tried anything really, because I've been so busy making videos or having kids or other things like that. So I've actually been having a lot of fun just kind of going through the single player when I get a free minute. And yes, I am backed up, as you guys can see with the footage right now, which is One Night in Karazhan. I still haven't made my way through that. And so at that point, I'm looking forward to getting into Kobolds and Catacombs, then the Witchwood, and doing their single player and seeing how it's different from what I'm used to from like Curse of Naxxramas. I'm very much looking forward to Rastakhan's Rumble, so much so that I actually did pre-order it. I know some people will jump down my throat, but well, Rastakhan as a shaman is actually a pretty cool concept, and I do like what they're doing with Rastakhan's Rumble. And yeah, I wish I could say that there was more. Oh, and the other thing I should probably cover is there is a new ability, or a new keyword, roughly, in Hearthstone with Rastakhan's Rumble, and that is Overkill. And the way that the Overkill works is that if you do more damage than the enemy actually has, that grants you Overkill. And so the bonus on the card would then happen. So, for example, the one that they showed was the Sword Sulthraze, which I think is going specifically to warriors. If you trigger Overkill, then you may attack again. So at that point, like, it would be a really great idea to just wear down a bunch of these enemies and then just start hammering at them one by one until they're all dead with Sulthraze. And that was actually a really cool idea. I love the Overkill concept and look forward to being able to bring that to the arena. And yeah, with that, I think that's actually going to go ahead and do it for this video. I'm very excited for Rastakhan's Rumble, and it is literally around the corner. Who knows? Maybe if I could actually get some time to do a live stream, I'll show it off, and we'll have some fun with it. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for your continued love, support, and patience for the channel. I really do appreciate it. And unfortunately, we have a little bit of a negative subject to go into next time as we delve into WoW Classic and deal with the fact that it's back, and also its reaction was about not as great as Diablo was. You'll see, guys, when we get there.